Sound now. Is there sound now? Let us know when you can hear us, and we will continue on. Can you hear us now, family? Can you hear us now? If so, we will continue on. Okay, good. Yes.
Okay, great.
Wonderful.
Well,
Thank
again, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We were just talking. But this one is titled The Era of Man and Woman, the Drifting Head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's why you see the image. It showed a man and woman, their hands work together, but the page is ripped apart. She's holding the child pretty much. And notice that we said the drifting head. Okay.
It's very important that we understand that marriage is an institution of Yah, and
that's right.
It is definitely under attack in so many different ways.
Yes, it
right?
is.
Definitely under attack. And I don't think people know how important it all is. They don't know how important it all is. And they don't know what's at stake. And it's obvious by the constant decimation of families. It's just something that we see as a constant. And so we are going to be getting into this. And we titled this The Error of Man and Woman.
That's right.
Okay, because the error exists on both sides, right?
That's right. And
so we want to get into this in a way that hopefully you all can accept it and understand it.
Yes, exactly. Now, one thing I want to say is this here. And, I mean, judging my age, I've seen a lot over the years, okay? Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of marriages torn apart. I saw what the problems were on both sides, with the man, with the woman. I saw what happened. And it's horrible to see relationships broke apart. Mm-hmm. You know, see couples that you felt would have been together forever, and now they're no longer apart. And I've seen a lot of this, you know. Mm-hmm. And I sit there and I analyze things, and there's some issues that's going on, okay? And some of these issues are really bad. One issue I want to talk about is there's a song that came out years ago, okay? And the song is called Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Mm-hmm. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. Mm-hmm. And when he died, all he left was them kids alone. Alone.
Yes. So that's a situation that exists in so many families.
Yes.
And we're not just talking about fathers who drifted from woman to woman outside of marriage.
Yes.
We're talking about some of them who drifted from woman to woman within a marriage. Okay? And so this is something that must be talked about, family. There was something, and I'm just going to be quite honest here.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in something.
I was too.
We were, and this isn't going to be the focus of our conversation either. This is just one of those things that we can mention during the course of this particular topic of the drifting head. When I watched the story, we haven't seen the movie yet, but when I saw an interview dealing with King Richard, and how there is this magnificent family that's being presented to us.
Serena Williams
and Venus Williams, their father. The movie is called King Richard. To make a long story short, basically, he had a family before their family. And most of us didn't know anything about that family until the daughter, Sabrina Williams, came forward with that. Mm-hmm. And so when she told her story, now understand this.
Listen. Mm-hmm.
If a man divorces a woman and he moves on in a peaceful way and he's still taking care of his family, that happens, okay? But when you leave out the door and the idea is that you're going to be back and you never come back. You told your 8-year-old daughter that I'll be back with a bike for you, and you never come back. Mm-hmm. There was a baby, 8 weeks old. that family said that they were left in poverty, right? And so as they're watching his life unfold and grow, it is a devastation to them. And so I was very disappointed because we were, explaining to our children what a hardworking man he was, how he, did his family, did right by his family, he did this, that, and the third, not knowing that there was another family that he completely walked away from.
He walked away from.
Again, if he divorced the other wife and he was still taking care of his responsibilities, that's one thing. Okay, that's one thing. Because a lot of people find themselves in situations of divorce where that does happen, right? But that doesn't cut off the obligation to the family or the children. But if it's a situation where someone just walked away, that leaves a lot of devastation.
And you know what? And let me tell you something. All you gotta do is look at the statistics. Okay, you see, the thing is, you got too many. When we talk about this subject, it ain't for you men to get all in arms up, ready to fight. Because we're talking about the situation of these men walking away from these women, leaving the women holding the bag of these children. To care for them, to take care of them and everything. These men literally walking away from a lot of these children. And not just that. Men, they would say things like, well, they were whores though. Okay, but where there's a whore, there's a whoremonger. So why were you playing a role of whoremonger then? And so it's all of these different issues come up. And so when you look at this thing, you say, well, why are these men? I'm going to tell you something, okay? When I was growing up, I've said this before, every brother I knew, every man I knew was literally a player trying to sneak around. The men that had wives I knew that were sneaking around. It was so much, and I'm talking about in the late 70s and 80s, there were so many men that I knew that were married and were sneaking around on their wives until it was just ridiculous. It was just literally ridiculous. These men are having these babies. They're having babies by so many different women. Let me show you something. I want you to see this article here, okay? I want you to look at this. Now, I want to show you how bad this is, okay? So, let's go to this article. Let me bring this up on the screen here real quickly here. Okay. Okay, now let's look at this article, and I'm going to read this to you. I want you to see this, right? Okay. Black celebrities who have a lot of children, okay? We're going to start off with DMX, okay, the rapper DMX. DMX had 15 children with 7 different mothers.
Wow.
This person here, go further down. Let's get this one here. Okay, Antonio Chromatic. He's a footballer. Okay, this guy had 12 different children with 8 different mothers. Okay, George Foreman had 12 children with 4 different mothers. Bob Marley had 11 children with 9 different mothers. Evander Holyfield, 11 children, 7 different mothers. Travis Henry, 11 children, 10 different mothers. Are you hearing this? You get where we're going with this. Jason Caffey, 10 children, 8 different mothers. Eddie Murphy, 9 children, 4 different mothers. Muhammad Ali, 9 children, 4 different mothers. Kofi Olamide, I don't know how you pronounce that. But anyway, he had 9 children, 5 different mothers. You have Master P, the rapper, 9 children, 2 different mothers. Willie Anderson, baseball player and of the NBA, basketball player of the NBA, 9 children, 7 different mothers. And guess what? The list goes on. I'm not going to read all this. The list goes on and on and on and on. And it's really just ridiculous here.
But guess what? A lot of men think ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Especially among so-called Hebrew Israelites. They say, well, hey, that's the man's right. And that's how it's being preached. They say that's the man's right. Only the reference is given to a woman being a whore. But as we have stated for a long time, many years ago, we first brought it out that where there's a whore, there's a whoremonger. There's a
whoremonger, that's right.
But see, brothers in this walk don't want to talk about the whoremonger. They only want to talk about the whore, right? But in this video, we're going to be talking about the era of man and woman, okay? Not just the era of the man, because many of these women are fully aware or were fully aware that another woman existed. Now, I do realize that there are situations where a woman just don't know. She doesn't know that this other woman or these other women exist, because somehow they have convinced her that she's the only one, right? And so some women are just, foolish and silly like that. They believe it, right? Even though they don't know where the man lived, they ain't got an address, they don't know nothing about him, right? So there is that element there, and I wanted to bring this up too. This is why you can't go wrong if you just follow the Most High, right? Don't follow after the era of man or woman, right? And so I want to share something.
Don't follow after your lust.
I want to share something that's very disgusting. Okay, this was a clip that was shared with me, and I kind of wanted to talk about it more in depth, but I want to ping on it right now. But there was a woman who met some guy. She got with him doing something she ain't got no business doing. Okay, she got with him. She had just met him online. Didn't know nothing about him. Just met him online. Okay, and he did some stuff. Right. Some stuff happened to her. Medical stuff. Right. So she went to the hospital, and there was this certain stuff that was, found on her person that came from his body. Right. And I'm trying to be as less as descriptive as possible. People need to know what's going on out here, so you can run away from sin. But based on the particular disease that this woman contracted from this man she didn't know nothing about, that she had just met, they said this particular disease can only come from one of two places from this man. Okay, and some of you may have seen this clip. But they said this man either has been with animals before, or he's been with a dead corpse.
Do you hear this?
That particular bacteria can only come from one of two places. So I don't know which one is the worst. But the era of woman is that why would you even want to be with a man that you never met before? You met him online, had a rendezvous with him, and now you got some strange, disgusting disease from this man that you just met online.
I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Some of you women act so desperate, and you don't need to be desperate. I know you look at the fact that there's 7, probably 10 women to a man now, and you say, oh man, I need a man, I want a man, I want a man, and you get desperate, and you make these desperate moves, and you make these desperate decisions, and these decisions they're not worth it. I'm telling you, they're just not worth it. There was a song that came out years ago by a group. I think the group was called ABBA. But in this song, this lady's singing this song, and she's playing the role of both the mama and a daughter, right, in the song. And she says, come on home, child. It's too late to leave home. My girl should be at home. And she said, try it. And the daughter says, try to understand. Just try to understand, mama. He's a magic man, is what she says. Right, in the song. And the mother is like trying to plead with the daughter. Look here. You're going to get out of here. You're going to get caught up into this and this, that, there, right? But the daughter keeps going, but mommy, just try. And the bottom line is that's what's going on. A lot of women, young women, older women are becoming desperate, and you willing to take a chance. Then after you take a chance, things don't work out. Then you go to the next man and you do what? The same thing. I'm going to take a chance with him too. And then you take a chance with him too, and it's be the same thing. And then you just keep taking these chances, and nothing good comes out of it. But you end up with a bunch of babies.
And so the era of man is this. We just talked about the era of woman, how women are just easily manipulated because they want so badly to be loved. Who doesn't want to be loved, right? And so men use that against women. Okay.
Yes.
The era of man is this. I'm looking at some statements here. A lot of us have the same story about Rolling Stone papas. Okay. Not all of us had a well-rounded family situation to where mother and father were together, raised the children together, and they lived happily ever after. Everyone don't have that situation.
Right.
Within the black community, there are a lot of Rolling Stone situations. One sister left this. The comments went by, but I saved this one because I wanted to point it out. Mother of knowledge of daughter of Yah stated, she says, for sure, my ex-fiance left me while I was 9 months pregnant to go and marry a white woman with 5 children. How many times have we heard that story? Yeah. We have heard that story so many times. You know, different players each time, different city, different state, different decade, different year. Yep. But that story is heard so many times because the era of man is off the charts. Yeah. And you literally have men who don't want you to speak on these things. There are brothers who say that women should stay out of men's business. But what they don't realize is this is the woman's business too, is because women are the ones falling victim to this stuff.
And most of the women are the ones getting stuck with the children. Right. Because most of these men, they go all off and they do the same thing again.
Right. And so how many times, you know, like the sister said that she was left 9 months pregnant while this man went off to explore somewhere else and ended up marrying that person.
Now you hear what she just said? Mm-hmm. He went off exploring.
Before she even had the baby.
She didn't even have the baby yet. And he's off looking at another woman. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, this is the character that Yah is trying to get us, you women, to open your eyes up and see the type of character that this man have. Mm-hmm. You got to say to yourself, wait a minute, I'm not going down that road. I'm not going to be like this. I'm not going to go down this road like this.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, unfortunately, you have some women, like, I'm pretty sure that white woman with the 5 children knew about the other woman.
Yes.
Okay. Most of the time they do.
Yeah, they do.
But the problem is you have a lot of women who just don't care. This
but he likes me.
Sister Ashuri says Yashrael are leaving their own for the heathen. Yeah, a lot of so-called black men are doing that. They're leaving their own to go be with women of other nations. But if you're a young woman and you have to ask yourself, the woman who he's going after while the other woman is still carrying his child, baby's still in the womb, 1 month pregnant, 2 months pregnant, 3 months pregnant, 4 months pregnant, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months pregnant. This woman is still carrying the baby, and you're willing to come in the midst of that. Baby ain't even born yet. You have to ask yourself, if he is that cold to that woman, what makes you think he's going to be any better to you? Yeah. You have to look at things from every perspective. Yeah. And I really feel for my sisters who go through these situations where they have poured into a man, but this is where the era of woman comes in. Yep. You cannot allow yourself to be put in those positions. Yes. All of this love conquers all stuff. All of this, you can be with whoever you want, and that there is no protocol to follow. A lot of our people are stepping out of protocol, so much so to where there's this circumvention of how things were done in ancient times. In ancient times, there was a method to it all. In ancient times, if a young man wanted to marry a young woman, you had to go through the father, right? But in today's time, you have people who literally want to circumvent the father, like he don't exist. Like, my love for your child is enough. Yeah. I don't have to go through you. I don't need your approval. All I need is her permission or submission, and that's all I need. Forget about Yah, forget about his Torah, forget about his statutes and commandments, forget about order, forget about protocol. I'm going to do things my way. Mm-hmm. And this is why a lot of young people find themselves in situations because they don't get the blessing of a father or the blessing of a mother if the father isn't in the child's life. They go outside of the will of the Most High because modern times, especially in the Western world, have convinced people to just throw out spiritual and biblical protocol.
Let me tell you something. I've already made up my mind about this, okay? And I'm going to just tell it like it is, right? A young man got to get my blessing. to be with my daughters. And if he don't get my blessing and go around me to be with my daughters, he gonna get my cursing. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just how it is.
And that happens with the daughters too. If you say, I don't need Papa's permission,
yep,
I'm gonna do things my way, deal with whatever comes.
That's right.
That's the way that works.
That's
so
right.
You will get the curse, and that's how it works. Yep. You see, I wasn't even trying to rhyme with that. You will get the curse. That's how it works, because there is a biblical and a spiritual protocol that needs to be followed. This is why the black community is so dysfunctional. I remember many years ago on my channel when it was called Black Education TV, and I would talk about these things quite often, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember a number of sisters, they said, Sister Deborah, I wish I did have parents who kind of guided me in my relationships and who told me what to look out for, what to do, and what not to do. They said, I wish I would have listened. I wish I would have had a mother or a father who told me that this person wasn't right for me and that I need to keep it moving from there. Mm-hmm. A lot of these young women came on my channel and said that. And so usually in retrospect or after the fact, a lot of people realize the error of their ways and they say, coulda, shoulda, woulda, wish I hadda, but it's too late.
Yes. Yes, exactly. You know, it's sad. I saw a movie. It was a rather long movie. It was probably close to 3 hours long. But this was a sad movie. It's about a guy. He was Caucasian. And he decided, because he wanted to go out and just, the movie's called Into the Wild. So I like these wilderness movies when people go on these journeys into the wilderness and all. So I was like, this looked like an interesting movie. So I was watching this movie, right? Now, he ended up, he was going to college. Okay, his mother and father sent him to college. They were well off. He was working a good job, working for NASA, making good money. And so his boy went off to college for 4 years. And when he got back from college, his daddy was all excited about him and was like, yeah, so you're going to go to this college here now? You're going to get your degree? You're going to do this? And the boy was like, yeah, you know, whatever, right? They were like, we want to buy you a new car. And the boy was like, you ain't got to buy me a new car or whatever, you know. And the boy just acted kind of a little withdrawn, you know. And so, to make a long story short, what ended up happening was the young man decided, I'm going to just leave. So he up and just left, didn't tell his family nothing. His
Why did
sister,
he leave, though?
I'm going to tell you, he left his mama and daddy and was gone for years, right? Mm-hmm. Then it came out the reason why he left. Mm-hmm. You know why he left? Because there was truths about his family that came out. And he couldn't deal with it. He just couldn't deal with looking at his parents. And he just couldn't deal with it. Turned out that his father had another wife and children. And his mother was the mistress that went in and broke up that family. And went off with him and married him and started a new family, which he was a part of now, him and his sister.
So they were the result of a relationship with their father and a mistress.
That's right. And so it messed him up. He just couldn't deal with that no more. And so he just left. And he was gone for years, for 3-4 years, I think he was gone. And then he ended up just starving. He found an old bus out in the wilderness in Canada somewhere. And he went in the bus, was living in the bus for 2 to 3 months. And after long, he just couldn't get no food. He couldn't kill no animals or whatever. And so he just ended up just starving it up. And they found his body in the bus. But the story was really sad that that's what drove him. And he never went back to his parents and say this or that. And so his mother and father literally was crushed by it, you know.
It was based on a true story. They changed a little bit in the movie. But people have to understand that these decisions that they make affect others, right?
Yes, they do.
You know, that's why we brought up the King Richard thing. How, you know, of course, some people, they don't want to believe it because, you know, there are things that we don't know.
Yes.
But the bottom line is this. And I do understand some people are saying that according to the scripture, divorce can only happen for these reasons. So we get all of that.
Right.
But because our people are hard-headed, they're doing things their own way. My thing is this. Even if you leave that situation and you move on to another situation, you still have an obligation to take care of the children. And that was one of the main points that the young woman brought out, that their father left them in poverty. That's where my main focus is.
Yes.
Okay, the fact that you can't just go start a whole other family and forget that this one exists and don't take care of them.
That's
right? Okay, of course, the biblical things that they have violated, that's a whole other issue. That's the main issue, really, right?
Yes.
But from just a natural standpoint, from those who hear these stories and say, well, we don't know the whole story. Bottom line is, if there is a whole other story related to it, you're still responsible for the kids.
Yep.
Those children still need to be fed. I don't care what you and the mother went through. Those kids still need to be taken care of. I don't care what you and the mother went through. That is where I'm coming from with this.
Yeah.
You should not leave your children in poverty and go off and start a whole other family that is not in poverty. Of course, as adults, he's not. Well, there's a question. Some people will say that there should still be an obligation for all that was missed. But technically, once they become adults, of course, he's not responsible. But if they are children, if they are children, I'm sorry, you should not be able to just walk away from your children and not take care of them and pretend like they don't exist because you going in another direction looking for somebody else. And a lot of young men do that.
Yes.
They will put their seed in a young woman. She's carrying their seed. She's pregnant, about to have their baby, and they'll go off and get somebody else pregnant. Or they'll go off and pursue somebody else that they want to marry, while the woman with the seed in the womb is cast aside. Yeah. Do you think that's of Yah? Whether it's King Richard or the man on the moon.
Yeah. Or
the man on the East Coast, West Coast, North or South. It doesn't matter. You are not supposed to be just planting your seed out here, and before the seed even comes forth, you out here pursuing another womb.
Yeah. You know what's sad about it is, I mean, gee whiz. I mean, the way things were in Israel, you know, these whoremonger men would get with these women out here and have babies with these women, right? And now these women, they like, no, then these whoremonger men, they say, I want a virgin.
Right.
Now, you as a whoremonger, you done slept with 5, 6, 10, 15, 30 women, but you want a virgin.
Ain't that some nerve?
That's some nerve.
Ain't that the hypocrisy we were talking about?
So what about the woman with the child? No, I don't want no woman with no child.
What about the woman that had your child?
No, I don't want to be with her. She ain't right.
Right?
Even if she got right, you don't want her. So it's just, this is the mindset of men. You know what I'm saying? I want me a virgin.
What makes you? Oh my goodness!
30, 40 years old. You want you a young tender virgin, huh? You done been through. You got so many notches. You done had so many babies and then did this and then did that and then been with so many women, and now you want a virgin.
Ain't that something? And that's what a lot of these so-called Hebrew Israelites are looking for and demanding.
Yeah.
They demanding a virgin.
You know what I call that?
Out here.
Hypocrisy.
Yeah, that's hypocrisy.
Yep. You see, so it's again the drifting head.
Like Brother Raphael said, he said those numbers be much higher. That's right.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of low too when you were saying 5, 4, 3.
Yeah.
Some of these men.
Some of these men have been with so many women it ain't funny. I've seen guys that send one woman out one door and another one come in the other door. Mm-hmm. You know, and you be sitting there like, am I seeing this? You know, I've seen women know that this dude is a pimp and a player, and they, but you know, he liked me though. Yeah. He liked you
too,
for the moment.
Her.
And so when he's done with the moment, he's going to go and like somebody else. Mm-hmm. But
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. We're talking about the era of man and women.
And guess what? You women, you can't be a silly woman. You can't look at all the signs pointing to it and decide you're going to be a silly woman. Because you're going to pay for it. I guarantee you, Yah is making it so that every silly woman is paying for their actions. I guarantee you, he's making sure that you're going to pay for it. Mm-hmm. You know? And these guys that are whoremongers is going from woman to woman and doing this, they going to pay for it too. Ain't nobody getting away with nothing. That is not a righteous deed.
There was a statement made by Set Apart, one of our moderators. They were saying some parents actually allowed their sons or daughters to come up in their house with that mess, with that foolishness, have their boyfriend and their girlfriend, and they just let them go off and do whatever. No parenting whatsoever. No upholding of Yah's laws. You just let that foolishness go on under your roof, and you don't think the Most High gonna get you for that. As parents, you are obligated to teach your children the right way, and if they want to do their own way, then they got to find another address.
Yes.
I mean, that's something we say often, and that's something we mean, because if you want to go your own way, or make your own way, or deceive yourself into thinking that your own way is the right way, then you need to find your own address. Because as for me and my house,
we gonna serve Yah.
That's right. That's how it works.
That's how it works. Yeah. Well, I tell you, I hope this message gets through to some of you out there that may be in situations. You know, you may be in situations, and I just say, you just gotta judge a tree by its fruit. You know what I mean? And if this. I
gotta look at this right here. Okay, so I gotta get back up to this statement put in here by Asuri Ramanto. Okay, love. Now, in today's generation, I can see that this is very, very true. This is how people are calculating love. So, thank you for this, Asuru. But love, legs open very easily.
Wow, you hear that? I love you, baby. You come around you and I love you. You know, I love you, and I tell you, that is funny.
So the legs open very. Thank you, because that's what goes on with a lot of young people these days.
Yeah.
Listen, when you have someone trying to instruct you and telling you right from wrong, you need to take heed, because you have to understand your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, those who have lived long before you, if they are trying to show you the way, that's because they've been there, done that. They already know the error of man or woman.
Yeah.
They already know what's on the other side of that, right? They already know that if you go this direction, they already know what's down that road because they've been down that road. So all of this stuff that we see playing out, we see a rebellious generation.
Yes.
And they are aided and abetted by society. Society tells young people that you can be a polyamorous.
Yeah.
Which means you don't have to be connected to a man or a woman. You can try any of it, all of it, if you want. Right? That's what a polyamorous is. Then you got polygamy. You got all these other different enemies or whatever.
That's right.
Or agonies, whatever. So many different things. It's your thing. Do what you want to do.
Yeah. That's
what society tells you. Right?
Wait a minute. Finish the song. I can't tell you who to sock it to.
Right.
I mean, gee.
And so that is what, see, this is why the music industry, thank you, right? The music industry is so dangerous. And we're working on the Satan's Musical Prophets, Michael Jackson segment, right?
Yes.
It's going to blow some of y'all's minds. The music industry is so very diabolical.
Yes, they are.
That it has destroyed some people's minds. Yeah. Some people will never recover from this. First of all, because they don't seek Yah. There's no recovery without Yah. There's no way to recover from some of the damage that's been done without Yah.
Yeah.
No way.
No way. Exactly. Yeah.
And this is a very, very sad situation that the world finds itself in.
Yes. It's sad. I'm gonna just be honest with you. When I look out sometimes and I hear some of the things that's going on, I see some of the things that happen in our community and with our people, and I'm not gonna kid you. It's very sad. It's very sad because, let me tell you something. When I was coming up as a teenager, I saw how easy girls were back then. All the guy had to do was say the right thing, and it was over with. You know, it was like, just say, I love you, you beautiful to me. Don't nobody else look as beautiful as you. And that would be like, to that woman. Like the knockout punch, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you something, right? You could have told me that 40 more years down the line, that girls
would still be this.
Would see their parents go through this, right? Would see their mother go through this, men doing them wrong, and then mother have to be with one guy, then another guy, then another guy. They see this in their parents and their mother, and then here it is. You decide to walk the same path, and then you done had babies, and then your babies done grew up now. They're in their teens, and they fall for the same thing. So nobody is teaching their young ladies that this, you can't be this way. There's not enough teaching. There's telling these young ladies, look here, don't be easy. Mm-hmm. Be hard to get. Nope, they easy to get. Easy to get. Anytime a man just gotta email somebody, and that's enough to win you as an email and a picture. You don't know the man show up. He show up 3 feet tall, wide as a door, and that. Oh, I know he's gonna look like that. Well, you.
You can't meet somebody on the World Wide Web and think that that's good enough. Yeah. I like what Queen Adiyah says. She says, women are tickled by hearing, just like the woman with the serpent. Yes. So Eve heard something, and it was enough. It was enough. It was enough for her to stray away from what she was instructed to do or not to do, right? Because she was tickled by words. And we don't want to be tickled by words. Don't be so simple-minded. Likewise, like Watchman said, women aren't being taught enough how to be decent, how to be righteous. Yes. Likewise, nobody is teaching the men either. Yep. Nobody is teaching the men that you've got to follow your head. There is a whole lot of concentration, and to be honest with you, there's more concentration on the woman being out of order and what she needs to do to fix herself than there is the era of man. Yeah. We see it all day, every day, up and down, all throughout the internet, the era of woman, and how the woman is the reason why the black community is so out of order, right? But who is out here teaching about the era of man, who actually brings the woman to this place of error in the first place? When the head is out of order, the whole body is out of order. And this is why my oldest son, Elias, this is why I set him down through years and said, you ain't gonna grow up and be no player. You ain't gonna grow up and do this. You ain't gonna grow up and be no fornicator, and he took to it too. He took to the word of Yah, and he's very just strong about that. I'm not gonna be, matter of fact, he says, I'm gonna have a relationship first. I'm gonna get to know this person personally, as far as the person, before I even go to anything talking about love or marriage and all that. He's going to be a friend first, and then he knows afterwards come marriage before you get into bed. He understands those things, and he knows how disappointed we would be. He know how disappointed I would be. He know how disappointed his mama would be, and he know how disappointed Yah would be if he go out here and he just live and he just let go and say, oh, all these other guys are sleeping with girls, and some of these guys, they're very rude. They be like, man, so you ain't done that yet? Man, you need to go on. They taunt him and tease him about it. Yeah, they be teasing him about it. He be going off on say, well, would you tease the Messiah? Well, here's the thing. What a lot of young men don't understand is that you signing, I don't want to make it sound so dismal, but you're signing your own death certificate in some cases. And what I mean by that is this. You can't just be out here making babies, and you know how they talk about the sewage system, how you flush it and you think somebody else going to deal with it down the line. Once you flush, it's gone, and I don't have to deal with it no more. When you make a baby, that's a responsibility. Yeah. And some women come after you for child support. Yeah. Right? So some men actually have so many babies out here that they have to pay child support for, that they don't have. As a matter of fact, somebody had posted online the other day someone's check that what they had left after friend of the court got what it was going to get. Right, and it wasn't even enough for a man to survive on. But you can't blame the woman. In many cases, you have men blame, she shouldn't have took me to court. Well, were you going to take care of the child if she didn't? Now, there are cases where the man does and will take care of the children even without the friend of the court. There are some cases, but you and I both know that there are cases where that man will not take care of those children unless he's forced to. Yes. But That is the era of man and woman.
Yes.
That woman fell in love, legs open very easy, right?
Yes.
She fell in love, and so she got the baby, right?
Yep.
And that man, he made his deposit and he kept it moving.
Yep.
Right? And so when we talk about these things, we're trying to get you to understand and analyze and determine that, look, I don't want this for my life, so I'm going to do things the right way. I'm going to do things according to how Yah says, not according to the promotion of Western culture. Because Western culture does teach is your thing. Do what you want to do. This is why you have men with men, women with women being heavily promoted and protected by the laws of this land. Because they have a mentality that forget about the laws of the Most High Yah. You have to follow after the laws of man. That's the mentality that people have, right? Yes. And so each individual, whether you are a man or a woman, you have to make a conscious choice that I am going to follow after what is right, and I'm not going to be forced into this swamp of sin.
Yes. You know what's amazing? I thought about, there was another movie we saw. This was based on a true story too. You remember the movie with the girls' home? All those girls are homeless. This was a trip because this guy he had this child, right? And then he was out of the child's life for whatever reason. And then he ended up getting married later on and having a new family and a wife and children and everything. And guess who showed up at his door? His troubled child. And she was a troubled teen.
Very troubled.
Very troubled. Very violent. Very crazy, you know?
And I said, brother, your DNA knocking at the door. There she is. She out there on the porch looking for you. Your DNA at the door.
She had the tattoos and earrings in her lips and ear, nose, and just the way she was looking. She came to his door like you know. And he was like, "Oh, matter of fact, the police showed up and put her in the car." And they said, "Do you know her?" And he looked at her. He's like,
"Yeah, that's my daughter. Yeah, that was your DNA
her
at the door."
It's like, "Yeah, there she is. She found you." But I'm just telling you, he had to go through some things with her. You know, he had to go through some troubling things.
Based on a true story.
Yeah, based on a true story.
It all worked out in the end, but sometimes it don't.
Yeah, that's
sometimes it don't.
And so it's just it's a thing where we see a lot of this. You know, it's a lot of it. It ain't just with the black community. This was a white person in this video. You know, in this movie, but it's not all. It's all over. It's like the norm now. You know, to just hop around from woman to woman till you find one that's, you know, okay, I think I could live with her. Most men wait till they almost half dead. You know, they're okay, now I'm going to settle down with her now. You know, I done used up and sold all my wild oats. You know, it's crazy to me, but this is the mindset of people, you know. I've seen guys be with women and mess over so many women, you know, and then they get older and they be like, man, you know, you older now. You never got married. You know, but you was a player all your life. Player. You know.
Norma says that she came across a young woman pregnant who had been recently. She said she came across something. A young woman was recently killed by the father of her unborn baby. So those are other issues that you have to consider as well. Young woman killed by the father of her unborn baby. That's a story that's being told. That's been told. Oh my goodness, this happens so much over the decades.
Yes.
That is a very common story where you have young women who think they're in love, and they end up finding out when it's too late that the man was violent.
Yes.
You see, one of the saddest stories I've ever heard was one incident that happened in Detroit, where a mother, she had a beautiful little girl, right? And the little girl was in daycare. This happened so long ago, but it's so sad. It still stays in my memory. She was trying to force the dad to be in the child's life. Okay, I guess she's thinking, because the little girl was extremely cute. I guess her thinking was that if he sees her, if he spends some time with her, maybe he'll love her, maybe he'll fall in love. That did not happen. This man went to the daycare where this child was and killed the child right there in the daycare center.
You trying to force this child on this man? and you done allowed yourself to be with the man to get pregnant, and then when you see the man what he's about, he don't want you, don't want to be with your child, don't want the child, and then you gonna force that child on him though, and he end up killing the child. This is some sad stuff that's going on in our community. I tell you, it's a sad stories. Just so sad.
Yeah, someone says they remember that. Yeah, it happened so long ago. I wasn't sure if some of you would remember it or not, but that was one of the saddest I've seen. You know, something like that is horrible. So again, for young women, because this is the era of men and women, you have to be very picky. I'm sorry, you got to be picky. You can't just give a stranger a chance, right? There are men and women out here who got problems.
Yes.
Men got to be careful too, right? We have sons.
Yes.
We have sons, and so our message to our sons is that you don't just fall in love with somebody because they're beautiful.
Yes.
There have to be other attributes than just that.
Yes.
Okay, what is her relationship with Yah? Okay?
Yes.
What other things does she bring to the table other than a beautiful face?
Yes.
Or a hot body? I mean, it's more to it than that, right?
Yeah.
This is why the scripture says, whom Yah have joined together, right? And when Yah joins somebody together, it's not going to be all of this out of order garbage that's going on. When there is a parent or a father or both or just a mother in the child's life, there is a protocol to follow.
Yes.
Okay, there is a spiritual protocol to follow, especially if you have parents that are living in righteousness. You don't want to step outside of that, okay? Because there are so many different dangers that you can find yourself in because you're willing to take a risk that you shouldn't be taking in the first place, right?
Yes.
And so I know we've talked about a lot in this. We've talked about, you know, how you have a man who has a family already, babies in tow, and he completely ignores or drifts from that family and goes and start another one. The era of man is off the charts.
Yeah.
And then you have women who knows about the other woman or the other family, the other situation, but completely shuts it out of her mind just so that she can get hers.
And guess what?
That's the era of woman.
You're going to reap what you sow.
Yes.
Because the way you were, somebody going to be the same way toward you. And one day,
and even if that don't happen, the Most High have other ways.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, sometimes you don't always get a tit for tat type judgment. Sometimes the Most High just wipe people out. Sometimes he do this. I've seen where a person, you say to yourself, are they ever going to be judged for that? Right? And some people live, and I see it a lot with the Gentiles.
Yeah.
You think that something is going to happen because of all the stuff that they've done. Many of them live their lives to be a ripe old age, right? But then the judgment smacks down. Yeah. And again, you might not ever, it may not be the exact same thing that you have done, but Yah has other ways.
He has ways of doing it. You know, like you said, sometimes people, they get it back differently. You know, he could dish it out little at a time over the next 30 years. And a person to realize after they get older, they say, man, I made a crucial mistake years ago when I did this and when I did that, and I seem like I paid for it for all my life now. Some things are like that. You'll pay for your entire life. So that's why you got to be careful of the attitude you take.
I've seen situations where a person did a specific thing to a person that may have been devastating to that person.
Yes.
Okay? But that particular devastation that they did to that other person may not happen to them the way what they did to that person happened. But the Most High, I've seen situations where the Most High will completely come and uproot a person's life and obliterate their whole situation up and down.
Yes.
Because they didn't repent of the thing that they had done.
Yes.
Right? And if you understand, it don't have to be the exact same thing. But when you hear the tale of this person's life, you say, man, they are having it like that. Their life is like that. This is dissolved. That's obliterated. That's Yah.
Yeah.
That is Yah. You might steal somebody's car. Nobody may ever steal your car, but something else might happen. So the moral of the story is this. You may do something over here and never repent from it. But you got to understand that even if Yah don't duplicate, because some people ain't going to do that thing to you, right? the Most High has a whole other judgment or chastisement slated for those who do not repent.
The scripture says, Yah is not mocked.
Mm-hmm.
Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap.
That's right.
That's the word. You're going to reap what you sow.
That's right.
Well, family, I hope this message was a blessing, and I just pray that those of you out there that are single, that you take your time and you seek Yah. You seek Yah for guidance of who you're going to be with, and don't give in. Don't just give in to the first pretty face or the first handsome face or the first person to say something nice to you. Don't give in to that stuff. Mm-hmm. You need to hold out and just seek Yah and be careful. All you got to do is look at the statistics. Look at the ruined lives. You know, that should be enough to make you say, oh, I'm going to be careful. I'm not going to make this mistake.
Yanaya said, steal your kidney. I don't know if you're referencing what happened to, I believe it was the tribe of Dan or one of them, not one of the Israelite brothers. Something happened to his kidney because of his wickedness towards his brother. Was it Joseph?
Yeah.
And the Most High did something to his liver or his kidney. I don't know if that's what you were referencing. But yeah, so you might have this other way that you deal with your brother over here that's wicked, right? But the Most High said, because of your wickedness, I'm going to destroy your intestines. I'm going to destroy your insides, right? So that's a good example. Yeah, that is a good example of the Most High judging or punishing you quite differently than what you put out.
Yes, exactly.
But it's still a reaping what you sow. You sow bad, you're going to reap bad.
That's right.
You sow good, you're going to reap good.
That's right.
Now that's for all of those who do not repent. Because in that case of that brother, before he died, his father entreated the Most High on his behalf. And the story went on to where he ended up repenting. And he even told his children of his wickedness and told them, don't ever do this. Because this is what Yahuwah did to me because of what I did to my brother. So those who have unrepentant sins, you better run fast to the Most High and pray that he grants you repentance. But don't sit there and pretend like you didn't do nothing, right? Don't sit there and pretend like nothing is going to come of it, because that would make Yah a liar. Mm-hmm. That would make Yah a liar. We know he ain't a liar. Exactly. His word has gone forth out of his mouth and it shall not return void. You just don't know the day nor the hour when that judgment shall come.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, family, we're going to get some rest now.
Yes, absolutely.
And enjoy the rest of the day. We love you all.
We love you all, and this has been another marriage series.
That's right. The
error of man and woman, the drifting head.
Drifting head. Yep. Shabbat shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom.